The first test that you're going to perform is a back squat. We use this for a couple of reasons. One, we need to establish maximal strength or your strength to weight ratio. And then we're also going to look for some common dysfunctions, the most notable probably being valgus. That is a big one in the sport of volleyball. So the only apparatus that you're going to need for this is a barbell, so you can do a barbell back squat. It's best if you have an entire rack. I'm just going to use the bar to demonstrate those common dysfunctions, so you're not going to see a rack. But if you have access to one, I would definitely suggest you use it. So the first test that we have is the barbell back squat. We're using this to establish maximal strength. How much weight can we possibly lift for 3 repetitions? So strength to weight ratio is key. A higher strength to weight ratio means greater athleticism and less injuries. We're going to be looking for some common movement dysfunctions. Now you can see on the chart that we've provided all the possible injuries that come from this particular movement dysfunction. So the first one we're going to work on, I actually don't have, so I'm going to force myself into this bad movement. But we're looking at the feet first, and it's just feet turn out. So I've got my bar, I'm going into my back squat, I'm dropping down. As I drop down, if this is the dysfunction you have, your feet will start to turn out. And typically, it's accompanied by a drop into this valgus position. We'll get into this later. But the foot turns out, maybe the knee collapses in. But you are looking for, as you go down, do your feet turn out? They should be nice and straight throughout the whole squat. The next dysfunction is probably the most common and the most serious. It's called a valgus knee position. And that's where our knees collapse in. And you've probably seen this all the time. You go to a tournament, you go up to jump, maybe you see a teammate go to jump, and they take off like this or they land like this. This is serious because you can usually end up rupturing an ACL. So this leads to non-impact ACL injuries. So here's the dysfunction. As I'm coming down, this would collapse in. Okay? So we're getting this internal rotation here through our knees, and they should be nice and straight, nothing collapsing in. So this is called a valgus knee position. So sometimes the athlete will not show the dysfunction on the way down. They can handle it. But typically in girls, we see this, that as they go to push, that's when this collapses. And they suspect the reason is that the signal to rip that out just isn't getting there on time. So they come down and then they go to push and it collapses in. So the next dysfunction we have is an excessive forward lean. So now we're filming from the lateral position. As I drop down, I'm here, and then maybe you see the athlete start to go forward. Maybe their heels come up a little bit. So this is excessive forward lean. You can see how much pressure this is going to put on my lower back if the bar is here. The next dysfunction is lower back rounding. So this is typically from really tight core musculature and really weak posterior core musculature, so lower back, glutes. So as I come down, this one's really hard for me as well. Like this actually kind of hurts. So the athlete's lower back would be rounded and collapsed. The last dysfunction from the lateral view is an excessive lower back arching. So this anterior pelvic tilt. So as the athlete comes down, they overly stress this butt out position and really rounding the back through here. So that's just a lot of disc on disc compression.